Good afternoon, and thank you everyone for being here today. Well, we've certainly been waiting for many months for this day to arrive, and it has been with both a sense of excitement and anticipation. When I chose to settle in Georgia a couple of decades ago, one of the key factors for choosing Forsyth County was the access to many tech-based firms up and down the Georgia 400 corridor. And so it is with many tens of thousands of residents in Forsyth County who have made a similar choice for themselves and their families. Forsyth County is now home to nearly 8,000 residents who work in technology jobs, with over 5,100 of those being employed right here in Forsyth County. In 2021, the county ranked first in the state for concentration of tech talent, incoming investment, and was named Georgia's most affluent county. Georgia's rise to becoming the tech capital of the South has not taken place overnight, but the rise is meteoric. According to research firm CBRE, Metro Atlanta has seen a 15% growth in tech jobs over the past 5 years. Now, when you compare that number with other cities that are also known for tech talent and growth, such as San Francisco and Austin, both of which have seen an increase of 16% and 10% respectively, it's easy to see that Metro Atlanta is one of the nation's leading technology hubs. But the tech industry growth hasn't stopped at the perimeter. The stretch here along 400 from Mansell Road to State Route 20 arguably has more technology-centered businesses and residents employed in tech than anywhere else in the state. And why wouldn't emerging and leading tech companies as well as their employees want to call Forsyth County home? Today, Forsyth County is rapidly progressing in tech business growth and separating ourselves as one of the state's most attractive places for tech business and tech talent. Amazon, Alamera Sciences, Morgan Stanley, and more. They've recently decided to locate their businesses to our community and the fertile environment that is here for them to grow. They join other companies that are well entrenched, such as Solvay, Siemens, LG MRI, and others who are thriving here and growing with the communities around them. I want to thank the many involved in making the official naming of the technology corridor a reality. A special thanks to my senator, Greg Dolezal, who, along with Senators Beach, Gooch, Senator Albers, and Dixon, brought this Senate resolution forward. Thank you for being champions for our community. The Georgia Department of Transportation, under the leader of Commissioner Russell McMurray for their continued partnership with Forsyth County. County commissioners who supported and promoted this initiative, thank you. County Manager Kevin Tanner for guiding this and seeing it through to the finish line. Our Forsyth County Economic Development Director, Vivian Vakili, and her staff, who have been great at helping attract these wonderful businesses and organizations to the county and providing top-level customer service for them as they plant their roots. Chamber of Commerce, kudos to you and Forward Forsyth for your long-term vision for what the county could, has, and will become in regard to the tech industry. And our friends in the city of Alpharetta, you guys have been trailblazers in the tech business growth for many, many years now. Along with the Chamber of Commerce and the county's economic development strategy, the county has been hard at work for several years laying the groundwork to create this attractive home for the tech industry. And we are only just beginning to see the fruits of these efforts. As more of these industry-leading organizations move here and bring their career opportunities with them, we welcome them to our vibrant and robust business community with open arms. I am proud to serve the residents of Forsyth County as well as the business community, which brings so much value to our community. I look forward to our future and the impact the technology corridor can and will have on our community. Thank you very much.
I have had the real honor of knowing Callie Boatwright for really 20 years, and I met her when she was 8 years old. But Callie is one of the truly remarkable chamber executives in this country, and I have a great deal of respect for her, as does many of her colleagues. And with that, Callie, I'm going to ask you to join us.
Thank you, James. Yes, I was 8. That's how that worked. Welcome, everyone. I'm Callie Boatwright, the President and CEO of the Greater North Fulton Chamber, and I am delighted to be here today to put an exclamation point on the technology corridor. And very excited, James. Thank you for engaging us with this. I can think of no one better to share this experience and have this work, and of course to your team and mine that are here. I appreciate your work on this very, very, very much. It is my pleasure to introduce Alpharetta Mayor Pro Tem Dan Merkel. Dan is a commercial independent insurance agent who has lived in Alpharetta since 1995. Dan serves as the liaison to community development for the city and is actively engaged in supporting and implementing Phase 2 of our T-SPOS projects, redevelopment of North Point Mall in the North Point corridor, and of course increased public safety as our city grows, the city of Alpharetta, and our needs change. Dan, would you like to come up and speak on behalf of the city?
All right. Chamber of Commerce is right. It's a Chamber of Commerce day outside. This is beautiful. About 8 years ago, our prior mayor, David Belle-Isle, kind of did some research, and with Kathy Cook here, our Economic Development Director and Community Development, and it was kind of by chance that we finally realized the number of technology firms that had kind of snuck into town. And then once we started doing more and more research, we started to figure out what they were looking for. And so we had a conscious effort. We just kind of one day said, let's just call ourselves the Technology City of the South, and shoot, if you put it on your letterhead and send it out, then that's what you are. So that was done, and then there was a focus on higher paying jobs because we knew the real estate prices were going up, home prices were going up. What's a good market to be chasing from an economic development standpoint? And that became obvious. It was technology. So as it was mentioned earlier, yes, it creeped up from Midtown, it creeped up to Perimeter, it creeped up on us. It's still creeping up. But I'm very impressed with what you've put together here to capture a piece of that, to, again, help with the marketing. We've got, as Callie from the Greater North Fulton Chamber of Commerce involved, the Alpharetta Chamber, Forsyth County. It's a group effort, and it is, in this corridor. We've got a lot to offer, so this is a great partnership to come up with this. A couple quick facts that some of our folks came up with. There are nearly 700 technology companies in Alpharetta. That's a crazy number, but it's verified. Zip codes in Alpharetta boast 3.3 times as many tech jobs per capita than the national average. In comparison, Palo Alto, California is 3.4 times. So the environment, the business environment, the friendly environment, the tax environment, Brandon Beach talked about earlier, all these things that attract these companies here, we're embracing. City of Alpharetta supports tech companies of all sizes. We've got startups just like you. We've got an incubator. Ours is in Tech Alpharetta, which is the first of its kind in Georgia in 2012. The center now houses, I think 44 startup companies are in our tech center. I haven't had a chance to hear your numbers, but I hear they're amazing up here as well. Alpharetta is committed to investing in our future by providing tech education, as well as I know you are, and we're thankful that Alpharetta's tech community gives back to the community as well as you guys do. So this is a great day. I'm looking forward to this partnership going forward. And I've already been told people have seen the signs on 400, so it must be true, right? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate it. Deborah with the Alpharetta Chamber is also with us. I want to say thank you for joining us today as well. Thank you very much. It is now my pleasure to introduce our senator, Senator Brandon Beach. Senator also happens to be a roommate of the North Fulton Chamber. We're delighted to share our space together. So it's my pleasure to introduce Brandon, who was elected to the State Senate in 2013. Brandon represents District 21, which includes, of course, portions of Cherokee and North Fulton counties. Senator Beach is also, as I mentioned, the executive director of the North Fulton CID, and in both roles, focuses on transportation projects and infrastructure for our region and for our state. Brandon, would you come say a few words?
Well, thank you, Callie, James, Deborah. This is a Chamber of Commerce Day. I want to recognize Representative Kevin Tanner. Kevin and I were both chairman of transportation. He was chairman in the House, myself in the Senate, and we were fortunate enough to do a lot of road dedications. Representative, I've never seen a sign this big. Y'all do things big up here in Forsyth, up in the 400 corridor. Let me tell you, I am so pleased that we got this done. Kevin called us along with Bob Regas, who was the former city manager, and said, look, we want to do something jointly together, and we really want to focus on the 400 corridor and really brand it as technology. And I want to tell you that y'all have heard me, Kevin's heard me say this a lot. I'm a firm believer there's a direct correlation between infrastructure investment and jobs and economic development. Just, that's the way it is. And I want you to think about, I want to give you a little history lesson if you think about it. In the late, mid to late 70s, they built Georgia 400. It was built with the Appalachian Highway Trust system. And when they built 400, everybody thought they were crazy. Why are they building this road? Nobody's going to use it. Matter of fact, they closed it down for 30 days to film Smokey and the Bandit. Now, I want you to think about that. If we closed Georgia 400 down for a couple hours, I'd be run out of office. I'm just going to tell you. So, but what that investment did, it brought companies up here because of the investment in the infrastructure. But it also needed the technology infrastructure. And I don't know if y'all remember, I'm going to give you another history lesson. One of the first companies to come up here was a company that's not even in existence now. It's called MCI. And then AT&T. And all these companies came up here and they put the fiber in the ground. And we had a distinct advantage over everybody else. When you look at our state as a whole, I will tell you we have 3 economic engines. We have the Port of Savannah, which is a huge economic engine for us. Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, busiest airport in the world. And then we have the World Congress Center and the Mercedes-Benz Dome, where we're going to have the World Cup and the NCAA Championship and a great convention business that fills up hotels and restaurants. But I would also say this. Georgia 400 is a major, major economic engine for our state. And I will tell you why I can say that. We're putting $1.5 billion in new lanes northbound and southbound. We're bringing bus rapid transit up. We are convinced that this is going to continue to be an economic engine for our state. We will continue to build and invest infrastructure in Georgia 400 corridor because we do know there's going to be more than 700 technology companies. We're going to continue to grow the technology business. We're going to brand this area. And it really is refreshing to see Forsyth County and Alpharetta. We've got an imaginary line there, but look, we're all in this together. We all need to work together, and we all need to make sure that we continue to invest in infrastructure, create jobs so that our kids and our grandkids can come back here and raise their families like we have. So with that, I'm very proud of this. And we will continue to do this and make sure that the developments coming up here. I think there are going to be some great announcements, Mr. Tanner, down the road. So with that, thank you all for having me, and thank you for being involved in this community. Thank you.
Well, Brandon, you could not have said it better. Actually, our community, I want to remind everybody, if you haven't voted, go vote. November 8th, we have a T-SPLOST on the ballot, and all of that you just described, we've got to keep the work going, and thank you for your leadership. And thank you, Brandon, for your leadership on this, and I was glad to say that, hear you say that you like the sign, because Callie and I got together, and we have made arrangements for this sign. A copy of this sign has already been put in your front yard, permanent installation. And as excited as we know you'll be about that, I know your wife is going to be even more excited about that. But in all seriousness, thank you very much, Brandon. And Brandon and I have also known each other for an awfully long time, and really appreciate your leadership as well. The location that we are in today is not by accident, certainly. We are welcomed today by Digital Ignition. They are a great example of the technology story of our corridor. And I'm going to ask Joanne Sanders. Joanne is a member of our board, chamber board, and very active in not just our chamber, but organizations throughout the corridor. And just like to ask you to say a few words, and thank you again for hosting us.
Well, thank you so much. I'm just really honored to have everybody here. Digital Ignition has grown as a result of partnerships, so to really be hosting another partnership moment that is so important to this entire area. It's just really, truly an honor. As General Manager, I'd like to welcome you to Digital Ignition. It is really great to have the City of Alpharetta here in Forsyth County, all the leadership within the area to really come together in this moment. So thank you so much for choosing our location. Here at Digital Ignition, we have over 50 companies that call Digital Ignition home. Many of them are technology companies that are thriving and growing, and in fact, 80% of them grew last year, despite everything that's going on. So there's a lot of growth happening here at Digital Ignition, and we're just excited with all the momentum that's happening. But we are actually, part of that momentum is the fact that we have such great leadership that's part of this organization and is part of our parent company. And it is my privilege to actually introduce Derek Dissenfield, who is here from Miami, who's part of our parent company. He's an award-winning entrepreneur and investor who's the managing director of Fundamental Ventures, the venture side of Fundamental Global. Fundamental Global is a private partnership that's focused on long-term strategies and investments. And with that, let me turn it over to Derek.
Hi, everybody. I just can't tell you how fired up and honored that you guys all took time out of your day to come celebrate this great moment. Fundamental Global and Digital Ignition could not be more excited to be at the nexus at a movement that includes a public-private collaboration in the booming Forsyth County. Because of the recent partnership with Fundamental Global, Digital Ignition is going to realize its goal of becoming the premier incubator that will house Fundamental Global's venture capital arm, FG Venture. It will also house FG Labs, which is our 12-week technology accelerator. We also are excited that next fall, we are gonna have a premier technology summit that is gonna bring together both local and national business leaders to provide the network expertise and resources that local businesses here in Forsyth County can prosper with. Fundamental Global is not just an early stage investor. We invest across all stages, including public companies, and are excited to provide resources, network, and expertise to early and middle stage companies. Our 2020 goal is to have up to 100 thriving companies as part of the ecosystem here at Digital Ignition, which is not just important for investors' rate of return, but we can benefit the hardworking people of Alpharetta. We're optimistic that we will have 300 jobs at Digital Ignition's 100 companies. The bottom line is, if you're a budding entrepreneur looking for capital and you're based in Alpharetta, Digital Ignition is the home for you. Thank you, everybody.
Well, to all of our speakers, thank you all very much for joining us. Thank you all for being with us. Before we close, I just want to ask everybody who is part of the program today, we're going to do some pictures for all of our elected officials, development authority members, and anyone else who just would like to have their picture with the sign. We are here to accommodate you. So if you will, just hang out a little bit and we'll do pictures after this. Again, Callie, thank you. Thank you to Brandon and to Chairman John and to Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you all very much for your continued work with us as an organization and with us as a community. Big things are ahead. Thank you.